Welcome into CBS News 24/7. I'm Elizabeth Cook. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, as you see, just wrapping up a press briefing at the White House. This is its first time that he has filled in as press secretary since Caroline Leavitt went on maternity leave. Now, we talked about a lot of issues: Iran, Cuba, his upcoming visit with the Pope. He also cracked a few jokes. Let's get right to CBS News digital reporter Kathryn Watson. Kathryn, Rubio gave an update on the war just a short time ago. What did he have to say?
Absolutely. Well, this was really, I think, maybe the first time we've seen the Secretary of State brief reporters, certainly on his own. So it was a unique opportunity while the current White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, is on maternity leave. So Secretary Rubio just kind of basically gave an update on where we are. He said Operation Epic Fury is over. He made that very clear, that the current stage of the operation now is handling the Strait of Hormuz as well as ongoing negotiations. Rubio tried to make it really clear that as we are hearing reports and as the administration even is confirming fire in the Strait of Hormuz and in the Persian Gulf region, that the U.S. is only striking back when Iran strikes first. So he was really just trying to give an update on the situation and where we're at. We did hear a little bit of news, I think, from Rubio, which is that the U.S. is going to the UN to try to get a resolution together condemning mines in the strait, which Iran has yet to really clear out, and which the U.S. has been attempting to work on, as well as condemning any attacks from Iran of ships that are in the Persian Gulf and are trying to continue through the strait. So Rubio, did deliver a little bit of news, but that was the gist of his message today to reporters.
Yeah, he also answered a lot of different kinds of questions, Kathryn, and he is expected to meet with Pope Leo this upcoming Thursday. Remember, last month, the president and the Pope exchanged criticisms, that's putting it lightly, of each other over immigration and the war in Iran. What did Rubio have to say about his trip? Yeah, well, absolutely. Secretary Rubio said that this is a trip that was planned long before this visit actually, or long before these tiffs kind of between the president and the Pope, if you will, happened. We might have a little bit of sound on that. But yeah, Rubio really tried to say that this is something that was already on the books. And he said this isn't necessarily really about the conversations or the tweets that we've had. So let's listen a little bit to what Rubio had to say.
It's a trip we had planned from before, and obviously we had some stuff that happened. And no, look, there's a lot to talk about with the Vatican. I'll give you one example. The Pope just returned from a trip to Africa, where the church is growing very vibrantly. And we have shared concerns about religious freedom, freedom in different parts of the world. We'd love to talk to them about that. The topic of Cuba, we gave Cuba $6 million of humanitarian aid, but obviously they won't let us distribute it. We distributed it through the church. We'd like to do more. We're willing to give more humanitarian aid to Cuba, by the way, distributed through the church, but the Cuban regime has to allow us to do it. They won't allow us to give their own people more humanitarian aid, and we're willing to do it through the church. So there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, well, absolutely. The secretary obviously was trying to make the point that this isn't just about the war that we're seeing. You mentioned him, or we heard him talk about humanitarian aid and really trying to work for religious freedom in areas where it's struggling. Yeah. And Kathryn, it's interesting to watch this press conference because Rubio really seemed to be holding court there in the press briefing room, even cracking a few jokes. How was that received? Yeah, I would say it was received pretty well, Liz. I mean, it is pretty rare to have a Secretary of State in the briefing room. It's kind of hard, I think, for viewers maybe to really imagine what this room looks like. We see it on TV. It looks huge. The briefing room is not very big. It was very, very crowded today, certainly compared to other days when it is already packed. But look, the Secretary of State, you'll hear from administration officials, many will say that he has the best sense of humor in the president's cabinet. And so he did crack a few jokes about how crowded the room was and a few other jokes. So we'll listen into that real quickly.
Are you guys all the TV people?
Yeah. No.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go. I'm learning. They gave me a little map. I don't know where I put it of the people here. Some of you had like red X's. I'm kidding.
kidding,
Yeah,
not kidding.
so that was the Secretary of State right there. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And he loves to crack a few jokes. There was even, if I might add, there were some footage going around on social media this weekend of him DJing a wedding. So the Secretary of State was asked what his DJ name is, and he declined to say.
Yeah, I think he said, "You're not ready for my DJ name." Although that'll be interesting if he actually gets one. All right, Kathryn Watson, thank you so much.